Okay, abusua ene de mo fan chan breaking news no bebre ho a abusua ebi aba na chese na ye neoma one or two bi ntino neoma e delay kakra ntino breaking news ni bi ho a ye ntumi androp amfa amamontem ntino abusua momfa enche na eye adwuma no neoma na ye toto abusua na there is some latest update bia eba ya breaki amfa amamone no na ye de ato yi screen no enchen ede amamono US court approves extradition of former MASLOC CEO Sadina Tamaklu to Ghana. Abusuya sa former MASLOC CEO or ye NPP appointee. Okom MASLOC during a kufado netenwa. Okom MASLOC ta sika mami ofa edishon wan kasan butum and causing financial loss to the state, misappropriate of funds. Abusuya saa maami edwane ekokopie mu ewo US and endrada na USA magistrate court order then the final ruling eba abonte a say omo ne extradition no abusuya omo the final details aiden aba omo approve se maami no say oba Ghana na oba be face 10 years imprisonment. Abusuya say ne case no omo ye ne trials no absentia na omo ye na absentia no or kwa face 10 years in prison. Enti abusuya we ni breaking news eba ya ye delay ya ye ntumi amfanye den ama mom yenko na yenko tie ensem bi nso a ekoso e wo political highway no efa eye said na tamaklo ne extradition US magistrate court approving no credit goes to join news mom yenko na yenko tie ensem a ekoso.
A United States court has ordered the extradition of former MASLOC Chief Executive Officer Sadina Tamaklu to Ghana to serve a 10-year sentence for multiple counts of financial crimes, including stealing and causing financial loss to the state. The decision delivered by a magistrate judge in Nevada follows Ghana's former extradition request to us and marks a key development in long-running efforts to bring her back to face punishment under Ghanaian law. The court ruled that its jurisdiction over the extradition case and over the accused person and confirmed that the extradition treaty between the United States and Ghana remains valid and enforceable. Member of our Legal Affairs Desk, Fatau Bayaga, joins us live with more. Thanks for joining us, Fatau. Now, can you briefly take us through the background to this case and what really led to the extradition proceedings in the United States?
Yes, Sheila, the case against former MASLOC Chief Executive Officer Sadina Tamaklu stems from financial crimes committed during her tenure at the Microfinance and Small Loans Center. She was investigated by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO, over alleged financial irregularities, including causing financial loss to the state and breaches of procurement laws involving public funds. So, Sheila, in 2024, an Accra High Court convicted her in absentia on multiple counts and sentenced her to 10 years imprisonment with hard labor after she reportedly left the country and did not return for sentencing. So following the conviction, Ghana initiated extradition procedures through formal diplomatic and legal channels to have her return from the United States to serve her sentence. Sheila.
So then what does this ruling by the United Court mean in practical terms? Is her extradition formalized, would you say?
Yes, so Sheila, the ruling by the U.S. court means Ghana has succeeded at a key stage of the extradition process, but it is not necessarily automatic. So in the extradition case or in extradition cases, particularly in the United States, a court approval is typically followed by administrative and executive steps. So it includes certification by the U.S. Secretary of State before the person is physically surrounded. Now, there may also be some legal avenues such as appeals or habeas corpus applications by the affected person, which can delay the process. So while the ruling, Sheila, is a major step forward, the actual transfer to Ghana may still depend on the completion of these remaining legal and diplomatic procedures.
And she returns to serve a 10-year term here in Ghana?
Yes.
Hello, Fatal, are you there?
Yes, Sheila, I can hear you.
All right, so and she's coming down to serve a 10-year term here in Ghana, right?
Yes.
Well, what does this ruling by the U.S. I mean, so then authorities are in Ghana now. So in Ghana now, we automatic that there are further legal processes or possible appeals that could delay her return. Fatal, did you get that?
Hello, Sheila. Hello?
Hello, Fatal, did you get that?
Please come again.
Now, so as I asked earlier, what does this ruling by the U.S. court mean in practical terms? And is extradition to Ghana now automatic, or are there further legal processes or possible appeals?
Yes, so actually, this case strengthens Ghana's use of international legal cooperation to enforce criminal convictions beyond its borders. So, in fact, it signals that Ghana can successfully pursue extradition of convicted persons who flee or remain abroad after sentencing, especially in financial crime cases involving state funds. So it also reinforces the principle that conviction in a competent court can form a strong basis for extradition requests under international treaties. So more broadly, Sheila, it serves as a warning that leaving the jurisdiction does not necessarily shield individuals from serving sentences, particularly where countries maintain extradition cooperation agreements.
All right, thank you very much for joining us this evening, and that's my colleague Fatal Bayaga giving us...
Do you know the problem? Time country planning. Are they not receiving their salaries?
No, they do.
They do.
It's not even called something else. I think it's called Spatal or something. They've changed their name. Special planning and something. They've changed their name. There's a new act.
They are not working.
I'm quite fascinated that you all are on the same page.
Oh, yeah.
No, but those are things that really worry the country.
I hope it continues there.
No, but
it will.
As in what?
It will.
The continuous way.
I find all of you on the same page.
No, but you see, town and country planning.
We are all being responsible to make sure that we push a certain agenda.
Town and country planning is a problem for everybody.
Yeah.
It's a problem. In the municipalities and districts, the worst, I would not even say is the worst, whatever. They don't do their work. The most of them, you go there in court. Because most of them are lawyers, and that's all they do is go to court.
And some group of people that they need to be whipped. It's the engineering department at the various assemblies. Do you know why? Someone will start a burden. You will see, and no, here you are not supposed to do that. The person will bring some envelope, then you just cross eye on it. It will be there up to some level. They'll just use the red ink, stop work, and that's all. Before you realize, someone is there. Are you getting it? Then it comes back to help all of us. When there is flooding, then we'll be talking big. Do you know why that is continuing? Civil servants are looting this nation, but politicians carry the blame. Why? Because we are not one to deal with it. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Once it happens this time, hey, NDC government. When MPP is in power, it happens. MPP government.
But there are real people down there.
So they take advantage of politicians. Are you getting it? I mean, when you go through the Auditor General's report, I mean, look at the money that we waste. And how many of them are politicians? Find out. But we heap the blames on politicians.
Wonder.
I think the reason the blame is heaped on politicians is because some of those people themselves were also appointed by us. Then they're serving a bigger interest. Because it's very difficult to get the appointees, let's say political appointees are there. I am talking about civil servants.
But even
someone is accountant somewhere.
Even if the technocrat is appointed by the politician, isn't it appointed to do his work?
But will they be allowed to do that?
No, but that's the problem. They don't do their work.
But will he be allowed?
I don't mean to cut you down. Let me give an example. In every ministry, when a minister first comes in, right, he holds a meeting and he will ask, oh, what's going on here? Everybody will keep quiet and say, oh, as if there's nothing going on there. Because nobody wants to own up to continuity. Nobody. So minister comes and says, oh, if there's nothing going on, then this is the agenda. But if the chief director and the directors tell them, oh, these are the things that we were doing before you came, and they brief him, no minister will say, stop it. You understand? But you see, it is favor seeking. Right now, the most worst one is that the minute the person's name is mentioned, then the directors themselves are going to his house to now tell him when he comes who are the MPP people, who are the NDC people. That's what is happening now. So we are now going through and alienating brilliant people. I know people today, when the chief executive came, look, the lady was taken to, if she's watching, she know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention names. When she was senior in the institution, when the new chief executive came, they went and winched her, so she was moved to the basement or mezzanine or wherever. Her office was somewhere in the corner. 6-7 months down the line, the chief executive realized that one of the most brilliant people in that institution is that lady. They now brought her back to her original position, all because of what? Somebody went and said, oh, when you go watch this woman, she's this, she's this, she's this. That is the problem. And we are using that to spoil the very good people who are just there to do their work.
That's sad to hear. That's really sad to hear. Do I have your permission to move to the other matters this
Yes,
morning?
please, go ahead.
Let me start with the fuel pricing. I mean, it's one thing that affects all of us. So the president says that he's likely to hold an emergency cabinet meeting to at least find some solutions or some options to cushion all of us. I'll start with you, Kojo, especially because of the work you have done in terms of the energy sector and all. What are you expecting particularly from this cabinet meeting?
You know, I don't even know where this story came from about this emergency cabinet meeting, because the president is not in town. He's traveled to France. So where was from the emergency? I don't even know how the media got this thing that, oh, there's going to be an emergency cabinet meeting.
His team is there. They've not debanked it.
Well, that's fine. But I'm saying that if there was an emergency, cabinets are on Thursday. I don't know. I think Thursday or Wednesday is cabinet, which is tomorrow or Thursday. So if there's going to be an emergency cabinet meeting, that means there should be one today. But the man, he's...
Well, it depends what the government describes as emergency.
Anyway, that's fine. So let me now move on to the conversation. I think that, for me, what I've said is, high prices, you can go through the petroleum tax build-up, right? And look at the big ones, which is ESLA. ESLA is now 2 cities, almost 1 city, 96 pesos. Then you can go to the special tax, which is about 46 cities. Then you can look at some of the bust margin. I don't think you can tax, because we are even looking for more money for bust to do strategic reserves and stuff like that. So in terms of then the price stabilization recovery levy is 14 cities, 16 cities, 14 on petrol, 16 on diesel. So if the president sits and says, look, I want to give some relief to Ghanaians, and probably takes away the 1 city that was brought recently, and then the 14 cities or 16 cities, depending on which for the price stabilization, call it 1 city, 20 pesos, right? In the next window, the increase that will come will negate that, because we'll probably get another 2-3 cities in the next window, if this war continues the way it's going. Because bear in mind, the numbers we are seeing on the market is futures. So what the deliveries that the refineries have taken are the prices that they had in early part of the year, which is the January, February numbers. The expensive crude is now to be delivered to the refineries. So then the actual price, what you now have to increase, the premiums will start really going up the longer the war goes on. So my fear is that we shouldn't worry too much about, are we going to pay high prices? Yes, we are. My concern is scarcity, that we don't run out of fuel. And if there's going to be an emergency cabinet meeting, the president, and I said it yesterday on another platform, that the president and his team should look at mitigating factors that will stop us from getting scarcity. Because some countries are having scarcity, where there are demonstrations in some Asian countries where they are demonstrating against high prices and scarcity. So forget it being high. If it's high and we go to the fuel pump and you get some to buy, then you manage yourself. But when it's high and you can't get to buy, that's worse than high fuel prices and you're not getting to. So for me, the government priority should be talking, because you see, it's a deregulated market. Whether fuel comes in or doesn't come in is up to the businessman whose trade is to import fuel. we are in a part of the world where certain decisions the businessman might take might have an adverse effect on the economy and the country. So this is the time where the government, if anything, should pull in and have a meeting with all these business communities who does the downstream importation, the BDCs and the IOCs, to now find out what the government can do to help mitigate if there is going to be any if there are any challenges which might in the future cause scarcity in the country. For me, that's where the focus should be.
What about the countries that are having private negotiations with Iran to be able to open the strait for them to have fuel pass over?
Well, some are passing through. That is why if you look at the prices, it's not going where everybody thought it should be. I mean, the oil price is really around 110, 19. It hasn't really gone to, because there isn't a complete shutdown of the strait, right? Those countries that are seen as friendlies of Irans are letting those fall through. So we are not having the 20%, maybe not entire 20% is going through, maybe some 8-10% is going through. They are not happy with certain countries, so therefore will not go through. So that is the reason the tension or the high price is not escalated. But look, there is a deadline today ahead, right? Trump gave a deadline today.
Yeah, it's Tuesday actually.
Today's Tuesday, yes. There's a deadline today where he's saying that he's going to basically fire the electricals and whatever. But let's see what happens. The Iranians are not blinking. They are saying that, look, we've seen the worst. You've come in, you've killed everybody. What's the worst you can do? So I think, look, the sanity prevails will be good. I heard there's a ceasefire proposal that's being looked at. But in Ghana, we should really look at putting measures in place to not to get into scarcity.
Okay. Mr. Addo, what do you expect? I mean, the minority says that at least that one Ghana cedi levy should at least be taking off in the interim whilst we discuss other measures to cushion the Ghanaian people. Because you, on the other hand, is actually concerned about scarcity, because at some points you may be happy to pay high price, but what if the fuel is not available? If there is or without any cabinet meeting at all, what are you expecting this government to do at least? Do they have real potent things to do to cushion us?
First and foremost, I would like to...
Sadina Tamaklu, US for CCRA, Omo, Abo, Nituja, Ken Ofori Atta, ne partner in crime, or no, and CCRA, ya approve a year extradition, CCRA, Ken Ofori Atta, the Enensono. And also enam ekwanswa boba yabeda masasa je pene kokoti sa ensem wi edema aha gossip politics TV so medamase